So like those plungers there, it's a puffer tube.
Oh yeah.
So as it what happens is that goes down and forces air up through the hoses, and there's one per phase, and it blows the arc up into the chute.
Hey everyone, today we got some pretty cool footage. Years ago at substations, whenever we used a breaker for protection, a breaker serves a similar function to a recloser, which we've seen in many videos. We used to rack those in, meaning take the breaker, it's inserted into a wall, plugged into high voltage cables, we'd remove it out of the wall, out of the switchgear. It's, well, you'll see in a few minutes. But we used to do that on our own. Nowadays, our subtechs, our electromechanics, do that task. One of the big reasons is you must wear an arc-rated suit, face shield, the whole suit, as some people call it. So we got a phone call earlier today. They were racking in a breaker, and it went one click too far. As it goes in, there's a bunch of brass fingers that lock in place with a bunch of connectors. So there's fingers, connectors, they go in, and it went past the connectors. So two things: it may not have made contact with the connections, which control the protection if there's a fault in the line, for example, to send a signal for the breaker to trip open. And second thing, when it's racked out the next time, those fingers could catch and tear them off, which I didn't know this. First time I dove into this. We don't look after that equipment at all now, haven't in almost 20 years. So what's cool though is we got some really great footage of the back of the breaker. The electromechanics were also on site. We were having a discussion. They were kind of explaining some things. I caught quite a bit of it on video. Pardon the angles of the shots. I was trying not to get people's faces in the shots and stuff. But we did get some really cool footage of stuff that we don't normally get the opportunity to capture. So for those of you that have seen many of my videos, you've probably come across one or two where I was inside the switchgear at a substation. Basically the big metal building. There's a whole lot of buttons and switches in there, and in some of those units there's actual breakers in behind those steel doors. That's what we're looking at here. On the left, those are those secondary brass fingers I was talking about that connect to talk to that breaker unit. The thing with breakers, they're very similar to a recloser. We've done quite a few videos on reclosers or energized reclosers after a large outage. The breaker functions very similarly to the recloser. It's just not sitting in a rack out in open air. It's mounted inside this building. In behind, I think in this particular sub, in behind 3 of those doors are breakers, so 3 separate main feeders. Towards the bottom of the screen you see those red bars. So from the power transformer, the 7200 volts phase to ground, or the 12470 phase to phase, enters through the bushings at the top of the building, and it energizes the buswork that's mounted in behind all the backs of those steel doors on the back of the building. That buswork there, you can see it's tapped on those round red cylinders. That goes into the bottom jaws of the breaker, passes through, and the breaker's closed in. It energizes those cables.
A little piece of metal kind of in behind, so when you start pulling, it pushes the springs back, and
it's the shelf separators from our truck.
So you can see that metal bar he's using. That's used to walk the breaker in and out of place. Rack in means closing the breaker in, and rack out means removing it. A couple things you may have noticed. One is that all the buswork is grounded, so they're not wearing their suit or rubber gloves. And also, if this were energized, you would never make or break load with the rack in. You'd want the unit fully in place before closing it in. So those are the 3 phases. The bottom side, those are energized to the buswork, passing through the breaker. When the breaker is in the closed position, it energizes the top ones, feeding back out through those connectors into the cables. Those brass fingers in the high voltage just clamp around that copper pipe that we can see in behind those little metal curtains. Just getting a shot behind you.
No worries. Here, man, you want a flashlight?
Yeah, just shine it right in the hole for 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem. The shutters didn't even close all the way.
Oh, those shutters are supposed to close after it's
Yeah.
pulled out. Where was the secondary that was pulling off? That when it went into?
Back.
Yes.
Like
sir.
it did on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Breakers are way fucking different. That's all of our close and trip circuit stuff's there.
Yep.
For the motor for charging everything.
That's where you're sending a signal to when you push the.
Well, yeah,
Trip
we
button.
want the motor to charge the springs and everything.
This is B2. Like you can see, these are the ones here that are on the wall.
Oh yeah.
5, 6, 13, 15, and the arrow is like that little spring, right? So when the breaker's in, your closed circuit, which is here, on in the breaker, connects to your DC. You get your positive leg and your negative leg, and then same thing with your trip. So trip coil's here. So you got your 52A, 52A, and your trip from your relay comes up here. If this breaker's not in position, there's no trip coil here, so it's just open, right?
Yeah.
But so you come through, you get your trip, or here's your control switch on the front. So you
To
master
manually
push
trip
button,
it, yeah.
and then your control switch comes down through your trip coil, and yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So if it was pushed in too far, is there a chance it might not trip under fault under the relay? Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. How do you?
There is one good way to check, and these Basler relays, they have a trip circuit monitor. So like this is your trip output. Well, it's looking to see if there's a positive and negative there. Because if your breaker, this is a 52A, so this follows the status of your breaker. So this would be closed, this would be closed normally. And this is just a coil, right? It's just a wire. So normally your output has plus 62 volts here, because it's half your bank. And negative, because it comes all the way up through here to the bottom of your contact. So that output sees voltage on through your trip coil.
Yeah.
It knows your trip coil is good and that it's connected.
And
So
that'd be
it'll
a
actually
check you would
alarm.
do before.
It's an alarm right
Oh,
on the front of the
okay.
relay. So if you ever see like a major error, could be a bad trip coil.
Okay.
Because what happens is if this burns out and you lose your negative on this side of the contact, it's going to alarm. It says, "Oh, I'm missing voltage."
And the trip
There's
function
an
wouldn't
issue.
work.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could call for a trip. And if this is open, this trip coil's busted.
Yeah.
You're not going to trip.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Nothing. Yeah. Under
So
fault.
you'd have to kill the whole sub and.
So when that when that goes into fire, your fingers aren't touching.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, like in this case here, actually, we didn't get that alarm. So like, it could have been okay.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Just error inside of caution.
Yeah.
You felt it when you pushed it in that it went past the stopper, or?
So what happened was it was kind of moving too quick.
Okay.
There's a lever at the front there that says to depress it to remove it from.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't go back up again.
Oh okay. Okay.
And so we tried to bring it back, and it started to jam up. And it was like, look at the secondaries and.
Like these breakers have mechanical interlocks in them, right? So it's supposed to stop at a certain spot when it's racked in.
Yeah.
And then it stops at test, and then it stops at disconnect. So where
Every time when you stop, you have to release the lever
you
again.
have to hit the lever again just to move it to the next position.
Yeah.
So where it went past the connected spot there, like I say, you might have contact when we leave, but who's to say in a week there that something doesn't shift and
Yeah.
you lose
Because it wasn't in the
trip
proper
coil or
position.
something. Yeah.
That's the lever here, right beside the red rod.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is just a quick shot of the screen when you referred to an alarm going off. If any of those alarms are on, it will notify the dispatcher, and I will be sent to investigate further and probably call these guys. Now they're going to be racking this guy into the test position where they will have control of the breaker unit.
You're in test?
She's in test there.
Let's try it. Let's just try it.
Now we're in test. I know it doesn't line up, but we're in the groove.
Fuses.
Yeah.
Fill us in.
Just to
but
let you know.
Don't know don't know any of the real details.
Yeah.
They don't even know yet who's writing it up, whether it's TLM or whether it's PSO.
I think it's. Yeah, kind of. Closing?
Yep.
Opening?
Yay.
Closing?
You want to get the plungers? So like those plungers there, it's a puffer tube.
Oh yeah.
So as it what happens is that goes down and forces air up through the hoses, and there's
Hosing.
one per phase, and it blows the arc up into the chute to elongate and extinguish.
Pulls the contact.
Yeah, the blow-up coils hopefully
Yeah,
magnetically pull it up.
Coils will pull it in, and then the puffer pushes the rest.
Yep.
Oh, so the magnets and the puffer work together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the puffer cools the contact, so there's no thermal stress.
So that's it for today, everyone. I've got a couple calls I had to bail out and head off to. We've got a real interesting video we're going to be doing Friday, which is in 2 days. So I'm hoping to share that with you all, hopefully by Sunday. See you soon.